In this video, we'll look at some of the concepts in Chapter 2 in your book. The first thing that we're going to look at is editing a page title. Now, in the book, it tells you to open Dreamweaver and to make sure that you're in the striped umbrella folder. Now, if you were working on your Caroline's Creation Lab or you were doing something else, when you open Dreamweaver here in the site drop down, you're going to see the last site that you are working on. So make sure that you select from the down arrow the striped umbrella site that you were working on before. And this is how we left it at the end of Chapter 1. So the first thing we're going to do is open the index.html file, and you can do that simply by double-clicking it in the file panel, and it'll open here to your left. And then once we do that, we're going to click View and Head Content. Now, if you're using the Creative Cloud instead of CS6, you may not see the head content in this menu where they tell you to find it. I'm using Creative Cloud here, and you can see that there is no head content option here. But if I go to the Insert menu, I see my head content here. So we're going to enter our title, and then we're going to be entering some keywords and a description. Now you'll see that meta, keywords, description, and viewport are the options here in head. There is no option here for your title tag. That's because in Creative Cloud it's now moved to the actual screen here. Right at the very top it says title and it says the striped umbrella. This is where we're going to enter our title tag. So now we're going to call it the striped umbrella, and then we're going to put a space and type in Beach Resort and Spa. Beach Resort and Spa, Fort Eugene, Florida. And then enter. So now that's the title of our page. The next thing that we're going to do is add some keywords. Now we can get to the keywords from the Insert menu on Creative Cloud, or if you go to View Head Content, you'll be able to select it the way that it shows you in the textbook. In the book, it also shows you that you can use your Insert File panel. That's located right here. Your Insert panel is located right next to your File panel. If you click on Insert and you make sure from the drop-down that you select Common, you'll see one of the options is Head, and from here you'll see Meta, Keywords, Description, and Viewport. It's exactly the same as the choices that you see from the Insert menu when you go to head content here. So either way is fine. You are entering keywords right now, so I'm going to click keywords and we get this dialog box, and in here is where we're going to type in the striped umbrella, beach resort, spa, Fort Eugene, Florida, etc. So I've typed in those keywords and then I'm simply going to hit OK. Now these keywords used to be very important for search engines like Google in finding your page when people searched for those keywords. Not as important as it used to be today, but still good practice to put it in there. Now I'm going to show you if we flip over to code view what we just did. If we look here in the code, you'll see title, the striped umbrella, beach resort and spa, Fort Eugene, Florida. That was the title. I see that I made the L capital here. I can actually fix it here if I want, or I can change my title here in the code. It doesn't matter. You can do it either up here in this little box, you can do it in the code. It doesn't make a bit of difference. The keywords are down here. Meta name equals keywords, content equals, and here's all of the keywords that we entered. I see I have an extra comma here. I can go in right here in the code and I could fix that. And now I'm going to flip back to design view. Next we're going to enter the description And this time I'm going to get to it from the Insert menu. I'll go to Head, pick Description, and here's my box to type in the description. And the description is the Striped Umbrella is a full-service resort and spa, etc. I'm going to type that in now. So I've typed in the description and I'm going to say OK. And if we flip back to the code view, you can see here on the line under the keywords, meta name equals description, and there's the content that I just typed in, all enclosed in quotes. I'll go back to design view. The next thing that we're going to do is set the page background color. So in the book it says to click modify on the menu bar and then page properties. So if we go up to modify page properties, it brings up the page properties dialog box, and in the first category for appearance, in the middle of the box we have background color, and it's asking us to apply a background color as shown in figure 8 in the book, and it wants it to be the 6CF. So if you're not seeing that there, you can literally type it in here, and then you're going to click OK. Now our page is already gotten is already that color, but that's where you would change it if you wanted to change the background color. So let's go ahead and see what that would look like if we changed it. So modify page properties, and let's select white, which if we go right up in this upper corner, we can just get it really simply. Do it as far as we can. White, the hexadecimal symbol for white is 6Fs. And then if we say apply, you'll see that the whole background of our page is now white. And if I say OK, we'll get out of this box, and it would just apply it as white. At this point, the book tells you to save your work, and I do want to point out that if you look at the tab at the very top, there's a small asterisk. That means that you've made changes to the page that you have not yet saved. So that's just a good cue if you're wondering whether you have stuff that you haven't saved. So you can do File Save or Command S or Control S on your keyboard, and you'll see that the little asterisk goes away, and that means that we've saved this page. The next task is entering text onto our page. I'm not going to go through all of the different formatting. It's very similar to what you would do in Word. There's a couple of things I do want to point out, though, that kind of trips people up every now and again. So if you're looking at page 2-12, it tells you to put your insertion point after want to go home, which is the last paragraph, and then hit enter or return to get to the next paragraph so that you can start typing the striped umbrella. So I'm going to do that. Oops. And then it tells you to hold Shift and Enter or return and it tells you to hold Shift and Enter on a PC or Shift and Return on the Mac to get to the next line, and I'll show you why that's important. If I just hit Return, you can see that when I start typing, I have this space in between. So if I want it to come up to right underneath the striped umbrella, I'm going to hold the Shift key and hit Return. And then when I start typing the next line, which is Fort Eugene, Florida, you'll see that I'm right beneath it. And the difference is that when you hold Return, you're actually entering a paragraph tag, and when you hold the Shift and Return, Enter, you're creating a break tab. Let's look and see what that looks like now. So I'm going to go into split view this time, because if I select where I want to look at in the code, it'll highlight it down here in the code. And you can see now I have a P paragraph tag striped umbrella, and then this BR tag, this break tag, that gets me to the next line. Whereas if I take this out, I'm going to just Control X, and then go back to the end of umbrella and hit enter, you'll see in the code it's creating another paragraph tag. So I put my text there, you'll see it's a P tag, striped umbrella, closed paragraph, open paragraph, and that's not what I want. What I want is that break tag. So let's take this out, go back up to the end of umbrella, hold shift and return, and then I'm going to put my text right beneath it, and you'll see again I have a paragraph tab with a break tag to get to the next line. Okay, so I've entered all that text, and the next thing that we're asked to do is just to select the text and make it all italics. One of the things that you'll notice is that the properties inspector here at the bottom changes depending on what you have selected. So right now I have my text selected, so I'm looking at my text properties, and if I click the I for italic button, my text is all italicized. Just so that you can see the difference, if I click on my striped umbrella banner, you can look down here at the properties, and now it's changed to the properties of that image. And when I go back and select text, the properties are now, the property inspector is showing me the properties for my text. All right, I'm going to flip back to design view, and the next thing that we're going to look at is how to save an image file in our assets folder. So the instructions in the book is telling us to create a new file, a new page, a new blank page. So if we do File, New, we get this menu where we can decide what it is that we're going to create a new one of. We're going to create a new blank page. It's an HTML page with no layout. So let's just hit create, and we get a page, a blank page that's called Untitled. They want us to name this page spa.html, and we had created a page earlier called spa.html, but we're just going to overwrite that one. This one's a blank page as well, but for the sake of the exercise, let's do that. So File, Save As, and then we're going to make sure that we're in our striped umbrella folder, and we're going to name it spa.html, and when I hit save, it's going to ask me if I want to replace the one that already exists, and we're going to say yes, replace it. So now we have a blank page called spa.html, and our task here is to insert a bar menu at the top of the page using an image.